Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I am an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. The future of Logan's newest venture was beginning to take shape, but before any contracts could be signed and any celebrations could truly begin, a crucial meeting would bring old family ties, business ambitions, and hidden pressures crashing together. On Friday, June 19th, the spotlight would fall on Shauna Fulton and Wyatt Spencer as they sat down with Bill Spencer and Liam Spencer, hoping to turn an exciting opportunity into reality. Shauna had already taken an important first step by approaching Katie Logan Spencer with a proposal that carried enormous promise. She had floated the idea of joining Logan and helping create an extraordinary jewelry line, one capable of capturing attention and generating excitement throughout the fashion world. It was the kind of opportunity that could open a brand new chapter for everyone involved, and Shauna was determined to make it happen. Yet, as hopeful as the meeting appeared on the surface, powerful conditions and hidden expectations were already waiting in the shadows. Shauna's vision extended beyond herself. She knew Wyatt possessed valuable experience in the jewelry business thanks to everything he had learned from Quinn Fuller over the years. His eye for design and understanding of the industry made him a natural fit for the project, and Shauna wanted him standing beside her every step of the way. But her motivation went deeper than business. She had watched Wyatt struggle through the emotional aftermath of his painful breakup with Flo Logan, and she understood the loneliness that lingered behind his brave face. Wanting to see him surrounded by people who cared about him, Shauna had even encouraged Katie to find a place for Wyatt within the company, regardless of the jewelry project itself. In her heart, she believed he needed the support of his family now more than ever, and she hoped this new opportunity could help him rediscover his purpose. Meanwhile, Bill Spencer and Liam Spencer would find themselves surprisingly receptive to the proposal. The idea of bringing Wyatt back into the family empire carried a strong appeal for both father and son. Despite past complications and disagreements, Wyatt remained family, and the thought of working alongside him again stirred feelings of loyalty and optimism. As the discussion unfolded, it would become increasingly clear that Bill and Liam were open to what Shauna and Wyatt were offering. Their willingness to listen would spark a surge of hope around the table, creating the impression that an agreement was within reach. For a brief moment, it would seem as though all the pieces were finally falling into place. Shauna would naturally assume that a deal was all but secured, ready to celebrate the beginning of an exciting new partnership. But anyone who knows Bill Spencer understands that he rarely gives something without demanding something in return. Just when the atmosphere began to feel promising, Bill would abruptly slow everything down. Rather than immediately agreeing to the arrangement, he would make it clear that there was unfinished business standing in the way. The possibility of signed contracts and new opportunities would suddenly become leverage in a much larger game. Bill had an agenda of his own, and before Wyatt could enjoy the benefits of returning to the family fold, he would need to deliver something Bill desperately wanted. The room's hopeful energy would shift into tense uncertainty as Bill revealed that he was prepared to play hardball. At the center of Bill's demands was a prize that had already become the source of growing obsession, the hope for the future diamond. Bill remained determined to secure the valuable stone and use it as a powerful promotional tool for Hope's upcoming debut line at Logan. In his mind, the diamond represented more than a beautiful gem. It was a publicity opportunity capable of drawing enormous attention to the launch. Bill understood the value of spectacle, and he wanted that diamond in his possession before moving forward. There was every reason to believe that he would make his position crystal clear. If Shauna and Wyatt wanted contracts, opportunities, and a place within the company, then Bill would expect results first. The message would be impossible to miss. Bring him the diamond, and the doors would open. Unfortunately for Wyatt, that demand would place him under tremendous pressure. Although he had managed to locate the duplicate version of the Hope for the future diamond, The copy he previously had made, the genuine diamond, remained frustratingly out of reach. Every lead had failed to produce the real prize, leaving Wyatt stuck in an increasingly difficult situation. Now, with Bill attaching major business opportunities to the recovery of the authentic stone, the stakes would become even higher. The weight of expectation would settle heavily on Wyatt's shoulders as he realized how much depended on his success. Bill's determination would only intensify that pressure, pushing his son to solve the mystery as quickly as possible. What had once been a frustrating search would suddenly transform into an urgent mission with serious consequences. Elsewhere, another storyline would be unfolding, one centered on loyalty, commitment, and difficult choices. Hope Logan Spencer would face challenges of her own, but unlike Eric Forrester, she would refuse to abandon Katie when things became complicated. Recent developments involving Steffi Forrester Finnegan had introduced new uncertainty into the situation, creating circumstances that could easily have caused Hope to back away. Yet Hope would remain steadfast. She had made a commitment, and she intended to honor it regardless of the obstacles standing in her path. For Katie, that unwavering support would bring an enormous sense of relief. In a world where promises often seemed fragile, Hope's determination to stand by her word would offer reassurance exactly when it was needed most. Still, Hope's troubles would be far from over. As one challenge eased, another would emerge almost immediately, waiting just around the corner. Hope would soon find herself reunited with Brooke Logan Spencer, and that meeting would create a brand new dilemma. Brooke, filled with excitement and optimism, would believe there was every reason to celebrate. From her perspective, hope for the future appeared to be on the verge of returning to production, signaling a triumphant comeback after a difficult period. Brooke's enthusiasm would be impossible to contain as she looked forward to honoring what she believed was wonderful news. Her joy would come from a place of love and pride, making the situation even more complicated for Hope. The painful truth, however, was that Hope was carrying secrets Brooke knew nothing about. While Brooke anticipated the return of Hope for the future, Hope herself was actually preparing for something much bigger, a major launch at Logan that required careful planning and absolute discretion. The reality of what was happening behind the scenes could not yet be revealed, forcing Hope into an increasingly uncomfortable position. As Brooke celebrated a future she only partially understood, Hope would be left struggling to maintain the illusion. Every smile, every reassuring word, and every attempt to redirect the conversation would carry the weight of another deception. The closer Brooke moved toward celebration, the more trapped Hope would feel by the lies she continued to tell. As Friday's episode unfolded, business negotiations, family loyalties, and hidden truths would intertwine in classic dramatic fashion. Wyatt would find himself racing against time to locate a diamond that could determine his future, while Bill tightened the pressure with every passing moment. Shauna would continue fighting for the opportunity she believed could change lives, refusing to give up on her vision despite the obstacles. Katie would draw strength from Hope's loyalty, grateful to have someone who refused to walk away when circumstances became difficult. And Hope, caught between ambition and honesty, would face the emotional burden of deceiving the very mother who only wanted to celebrate her success. By the end of the day, the promise of new beginnings would remain tantalizingly close, but so would the dangers lurking beneath the surface, ensuring that every victory came with a price, and every secret threatened to change everything. The tension surrounding the Spencer family's negotiations would continue to linger long after the meeting ended, casting a shadow over what should have been an exciting opportunity. For Wyatt Spencer, the possibility of reclaiming a meaningful place within the family business represented far more than a new job. It was a chance to rebuild his confidence after months of emotional setbacks and personal disappointment. Ever since his painful split from Flo Logan, a quiet loneliness had followed him, settling into the corners of his life in ways few people truly understood. While he rarely allowed others to see the full extent of his struggle, those closest to him recognized the emptiness he had been carrying. That was precisely why Shauna Fulton had fought so hard to create this opportunity for him. She wanted to see him surrounded by family again, connected to something larger than his heartbreak, and moving toward a future that felt hopeful instead of uncertain. Yet Bill Spencer's condition ensured that Wyatt could not simply walk into that future. The promise of contracts and new beginnings now dangled just beyond reach, tied directly to the recovery of the elusive hope for the future diamond. Bill's business instincts had always been sharp, and he understood how valuable the stone could become as a symbol of publicity and excitement. In his mind, securing the diamond before Hope's major launch was not merely a preference, it was a necessity. The gemstone represented attention, headlines, and momentum, all the ingredients needed to transform a debut collection into a major event. Bill had made it abundantly clear that he expected results before rewards. The pressure he placed on Wyatt was not subtle, and every moment that passed without the diamond increased the weight resting on his son's shoulders. As Wyatt reflected on the challenge ahead, frustration threatened to overwhelm him. He had already managed to uncover the duplicate diamond he once commissioned, a discovery that initially felt like progress. But that victory had quickly lost its shine when the genuine diamond remained missing. The deeper he searched, the more complicated the mystery seemed to become. Every unanswered question only intensified the urgency surrounding the situation. Now, with Bill using the prospect of employment and family support as motivation, Wyatt found himself caught between opportunity and obligation. The clock seemed to be ticking louder with every passing day, reminding him that failure could cost him far more than a simple business arrangement. Meanwhile, Shauna remained determined not to let the situation unravel. She understood Bill's reputation better than most and knew that negotiations with him were rarely straightforward. Even so, she refused to abandon hope. She had invested too much energy into building this opportunity, and she genuinely believed that both she and Wyatt deserved a chance to prove themselves. Beneath her optimism, however, there was growing concern. She could see the pressure mounting on Wyatt, and she worried about the emotional toll it might take if things did not go according to plan. Watching someone she cared about carry such a heavy burden was difficult, especially when she knew how much he had already endured. Yet despite her worries, she continued to push forward, determined to help him navigate whatever obstacles lay ahead. At the same time, Hope Logan Spencer was fighting a very different battle, one rooted not in business negotiations, but in the painful complexity of keeping secrets from the people she loved. Her commitment to Katie Logan Spencer remained firm, and she had no intention of backing away despite the complications created by recent developments involving Steffi Forrester Finnegan. While others might have chosen the easier path and stepped aside, Hope refused to abandon her promise. She understood how much Katie was relying on her support, and she was determined to remain a dependable ally during an uncertain time. That loyalty spoke volumes about Hope's character, but it also placed her in an increasingly difficult position. Every decision she made seemed to create another layer of responsibility, another secret to manage, and another emotional burden to carry. The challenge became even greater when she found herself face to face with Brooke Logan Spencer once again. Brooke's excitement was genuine and heartfelt, fueled by the belief that hope for the future was finally preparing for a triumphant return. In Brooke's eyes, years of hard work, setbacks, and perseverance were about to be rewarded. She could already envision the celebrations, the success, and the pride that would accompany her daughter's achievement. Her enthusiasm filled the room with warmth and anticipation, creating a joyful atmosphere that should have been easy for Hope to share. Yet beneath Hope's smile, a storm of anxiety continued to grow. The truth was far more complicated than Brooke realized. While Brooke focused on the expected revival of hope for the future, Hope was secretly preparing for an entirely different future at Logan. The major launch she was orchestrating carried enormous significance, but it also required absolute discretion. Revealing the full story too soon could jeopardize everything she had worked toward. As a result, Hope found herself trapped in a painful cycle of half-truths and carefully chosen words. Every conversation with Brooke demanded another layer of deception, and each lie became harder to carry than the last. The closer Brooke moved towards celebrating what she believed was happening, the more guilt Hope felt inside. What made the situation especially heartbreaking was Brooke's complete trust. She looked at her daughter with pride, confidence, and unconditional belief, never suspecting that important details were being withheld. That trust transformed every concealed truth into an emotional wound. Hope wasn't lying because she wanted to hurt her mother. She was lying because circumstances left her feeling cornered. Yet intentions did little to ease the discomfort growing within her heart. She understood that secrets rarely stay hidden forever, and she knew that the eventual revelation could carry consequences she was not prepared to face. The fear of disappointing Brooke lingered in the background of every interaction, making each conversation feel more fragile than the last. As these storylines continued to unfold, the atmosphere surrounding everyone involved became increasingly charged with uncertainty. Wyatt stood on the edge of a potentially life-changing opportunity, but only if he could deliver what Bill demanded. Shauna remained hopeful, while quietly worrying about the emotional pressure threatening to consume her son. Katie found comfort in Hope's unwavering loyalty, grateful for support during a difficult period, and Hope herself walked a dangerous emotional tightrope, balancing ambition, obligation, and deception while desperately trying to keep everything from collapsing around her. With family bonds being tested, business deals hanging in the balance, and secrets growing heavier by the day, the stage was set for even greater drama. Every choice carried consequences, every conversation concealed deeper tensions, and every character found themselves moving toward a future that felt both exciting and dangerously unpredictable. As the day moved forward, the ripple effects of every decision began spreading through the lives of those involved, creating an atmosphere where hope and uncertainty existed side by side. For Wyatt Spencer, what had started as a promising opportunity was rapidly becoming a defining moment in his life. The possibility of returning to the family empire represented more than financial stability or professional success. It offered him a chance to reclaim a sense of belonging that had been missing ever since his relationship with Flo Logan came to an end. The breakup had left wounds that were slower to heal than anyone realized, and despite his efforts to move forward, there were still moments when the loneliness felt impossible to ignore. Now, standing at the threshold of a new chapter, Wyatt desperately wanted to believe that better days were ahead. Yet Bill Spencer's demands ensured that the road toward those better days would be anything but easy. Bill remained completely focused on the bigger picture. To him, every business move was part of a larger strategy, and the hope for the future diamond had become a crucial piece of that strategy. He could already envision the attention it would generate, the headlines it would inspire, and the excitement it would create around Logan's upcoming projects. In Bill's world, publicity was power, and he intended to use every available resource to maximize the impact of Hope's debut launch. That relentless determination explained why he was unwilling to move forward without securing the diamond first. While others viewed the situation as a family matter, Bill saw it as a business objective that needed to be completed. His position remained firm, and there was little doubt that he would continue pushing Wyatt until the real diamond was finally in hand. The pressure surrounding the search only grew more intense as unanswered questions continued to pile up. Wyatt knew where the duplicate diamond was, but the authentic stone remained frustratingly elusive. Every dead end felt more discouraging than the last, and the knowledge that so much depended on his success made the situation even more difficult. He could feel expectations closing in from every direction. Bill wanted results. Shauna wanted him to succeed. Liam wanted to welcome him back into the fold. Everyone seemed to be waiting for him to solve the mystery. The burden of those expectations settled heavily on Wyatt's shoulders, forcing him to confront not only the challenge itself but also the fear of letting everyone down. Through it all, Shauna Fulton remained one of Wyatt's strongest supporters. She had pushed for this opportunity because she genuinely believed in his talent and potential. More importantly, she believed he deserved a fresh start. Watching him struggle after losing Flo had been painful, and she wanted to see him rediscover the confidence that once came so naturally to him. The jewelry venture represented a chance to build something meaningful, something capable of reigniting his passion and giving him a renewed sense of purpose. Even as Bill complicated matters with conditions and demands, Shauna refused to lose sight of that vision. She continued to believe that the future they were working toward was worth fighting for.